All right, welcome to Wayne's World Garage. We're at the sawmill again today. We're gonna do a couple things. We're gonna sharpen some tomato stakes, and then we're gonna make some posts. We've got 3 locust logs, so we're gonna make some 4x4s and 6x6 posts to fix our fences. So hopefully that'll go all right. Can't imagine why it wouldn't. So hope you enjoy the video. Thanks so much for watching. Give it a thumbs up, please subscribe. We're trying to break the YouTube code. Well, it takes us a couple minutes to get warmed up. But last week the guys cut 80 some odd tomato stakes. They're nicely cut. Gary did a great job. They're 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches. Mostly red oak, a couple more white oak, but they're really nice looking tomato stakes. Sadly, I had the pencil sharpener at my house because I was sharpening the blades on it. And I had to resharpen some of the stakes we cut the week before. But it's working great now. Sharpened it, got it adjusted now that we learned how to adjust it. I think it's at lumberjacktools.com or something like that. They sell these things. It works out really well, and when it's adjusted right, it works phenomenally well. Well, you probably get the hint of what it looks like to sharpen tomato stakes. It's not real hard, and we've got a couple guys doing this here, so it goes really fast anyway. Importantly, as I said, since I sharpened the little tool from lumberjacktools.com, it works really well. It's just it's set up properly now. So how about we watch Gary make some big locust posts now. All right, we've got Gary as our story today. We got Matt and Alan rolling the logs here and dogging the logs, and Bruce there's doing the offloading for us. Although what we're doing, this is a nice locust tree. It's one of the best ones I've ever seen, actually, because I didn't bring it. Every locust tree I bring is full of rot. This has got some rot in it, but actually for a locust, it's a pretty good looking log. About 7 foot long, a little over that. So we're going to make 4x4s and 6x6s for the gates that we've got around the sawmill. And we'll be working on that next week anyway. So the problem we've got, though, this is such a big log, it's bigger than the saw will cut, as you will see, which just makes a little bit of extra work. So as some of you may recall, we have a 56-inch blade, but we're running the 48-inch blade. And guess what? 46, blah, 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 58, whatever the heck it is, 56, whatever it is. That means we can't cut through this whole log at once. So Gary gets out the little steel 170, which is frankly is not a very good saw. It doesn't have a whole lot of power. And he's got to finish cutting it off a little bit, but it works all right. Best to do this with a little baby saw than a big saw, that's for sure. And shut the mill off entirely just for safety's sake in case anything goes wrong. Gary does a good job, and let's get cracking. All right, we're back to work for Gary after a minor distraction, and get back to cutting this locust log up into big posts. This is where an automatic log turner would come in real handy. Instead, we've got Alan, we've got Gary, and we've got Matt trying to roll this guy, and it's locust, so it's a heavy log. It's not real long, but it's a heavy log, so it's not the easiest thing to roll, but they get it done. So what we're seeing here, Gary's a sawyer, so he's kind of in charge of making nice square cant here and making some nice boards. The best way to do this, we figured out, and maybe it's because the saw is kind of worn out, I don't know, is to take this log, now he's got one flat side, and roll the flat side down to the bottom of the head blocks. Once you do that, okay, it seems to work pretty well. And I think the reason being is because when you dog this thing, the log seems to shift or can shift a little bit. So ideally, you should just be able to tip it up 90 degrees and stuff like that. This is a whole lot better as far as the quality of the wood we get. And if you look at the quality of the wood, which I'll show you in a few minutes, you'll see we sawed some really, really nice boards. All right, so what Gary's doing here is the next cut, he wants to make some cants. Cants, remember, are big chunks of wood which we can saw into boards, in this case 6x6s. So what he did is, it's a little bit tricky since this is not very redundant. He wants to come over exactly 6 inches, and he'll slice through this thing, and we'll get a big 6-inch cant. It's a nice log, and this is a little bit unusual for a locust. So you can see what the advantage if we put the 56-inch saw on here. This one's 48 inches. 56 inches would have given us another 4 inches out of this guy. But it would have taken a lot more horsepower. And I think we're a little bit low on horsepower right now. Still keeping our eye out for a 471. So what Gary's doing here is he's pushing this cant through until it just drops. You see, it just dropped right there. And as soon as it drops a little bit, okay, start pulling it back. And that way there's a tiny bit of the hinge still on it, but you can drag the piece of cant back and you can easily pull it off. And there's not a whole lot of a tab left. If you screw it up, which I've done plenty of times, it cuts all the way through, and then the guy, Bruce, who's sitting there to our right or standing, has got to help and try and push this thing back towards us, which is kind of a little bit tricky. Don't like doing it because it's dangerous, because there's a 48 or 56 inch saw spinning right next to you when you push it back. So Gary's going to now check it out, see what else we can get out of this log. It's a wonderful log. We have not seen such nice locust ever. All right, well, all this work on this big log, and we're finally getting ready to saw some posts. They're nice posts. They're a little bit over 7 foot long. These are 6x6s. Go to Home Depot and see what a 6x6 cost. And they're made of pine. pressure treated pine, which is going to rot out in 6 or 7 or 8 years, maybe a little bit longer, but frankly, it doesn't last as long as locust posts. And locust is a really hard wood. These are just gorgeous. Gary did a wonderful job here. So it's actually, the first one's a 4x6, but the 6x6s are just fabulous. So what you don't see here is we watch Bruce sliding these bad boys down so they can get offloaded. Phil decided he can carry these alone. Good luck, Phil. His back is hurting today, guaranteed, because he have got to weigh well over 100 pounds each. And George is helping out too, and George is like, he's 80,000 years old too. Unbelievable. Alright, so this is the last 6x6 out of this log. It's nice. But stand by for some drama, because we still don't have it quite figured out, a good process or SOP, standard operating procedure, for putting the logs onto the carriage. And you'll see in just a second we knock the carriage off the tracks. Awesome. The good news is we're getting better at putting it back on. We should have strapped it down. I'm working on something a little bit different so that doesn't happen as often. But the reason it happens is the poor tractor driver, not the poor tractor driver, but the tractor driver, you can't see the doggone forks in this thing. So I don't like the way we're doing it. I've got some ideas, and we'll see if we can do something a little bit different. But the way it is right now, the tractor's set up for pulling a 4-bottom plow. We're actually running a flail mower. It's not set up for loading logs. You can't see the front end loader on this thing, and you can't see the forks, which makes it hard to do. Well, clearly, that's not the ideal outcome of loading this second log on here. The solution would have been if we had put a strap on it. We've got straps, but that takes extra work. That would have prevented it. I'm trying to work on a different solution. We could do something mechanical to hold the carriage on so this doesn't happen, but I'm afraid we'll damage something else by sliding these big logs forward. Additionally, why does this always happen? Well, if you look at the knees, look at how far back the knees have got to hang. And the knees are heavy. They weigh hundreds of pounds each, so it's off balanced to begin with. And of course, when the log rolls on it, it doesn't help matters a whole lot. The good news is we've done this multiple times last year and this year, so we're getting pretty good at putting it back on. Okay, well, the second log goes pretty smoothly, so I'll speed it up a little bit so I don't bore you guys all and put you all to sleep. There's nothing really particular about this. It's not very hard to do, and these guys do a fabulous job. So jump forward a few minutes if you want to the end of this log, and you'll see the outcome of this, the nice posts which we produced. Looks like we got 9 4x4s, which are locust, beautiful pieces of wood, and we got 9, it's supposed to be 6x6s. I think they're 6.5 by 6.5s. They're pretty good sized pieces of wood, but they look good. It's one of the nicer looking locust trees I've ever seen, actually. So Gary did a great job sewing these 3 up, 2 logs up. We got 1 left to do, and we also sharpened a bunch of tomato stakes. So we almost got 100 tomato stakes. They did last week, but we sharpened them today. But my question for you is, take a look at these guys. Tell me which ones are the white oak and which ones are the red oak. So, hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, guys.